Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is the Young Stoic, and this video is going to be coming out pretty late, like 3 days late. I think because I just wasn't able to record videos for the past couple days. Coming into the weekend, my schedule gets kind of funky, and so I'm not able to upload consistently, but the videos will still be out. So you still be able to watch them, and I'll be catching up over the next couple days too, and try to set out a clear schedule so that the videos can come out daily. But on what is today? Sunday, you should be getting 3 videos today, so just stock up your attention until tomorrow. But today we're going to be talking about not having opinions. Now, this may sound at first like an unsophisticated kind of thing to have. First I'll get into, I'll explain why some people might think this. So a lot of people think that you should have an opinion on things because it makes you more sophisticated. Like, you should have an opinion on politics or economics or whatever, because it makes you look like a more knowledgeable figure. However, it's not all that. Having an opinion on everything can honestly be a detriment to your life, and we'll see how when we read this passage. So first, I'll start off with a quote by Marcus Aurelius. "We have the power to hold no opinion about a thing, and to not let it upset our state of mind, for things have no natural power to shape our judgments." So this is in this day and age, it's kind of hard to think about this, but it is possible. Like, the internet, social media is constantly blasting us and telling us that we should have opinions on things. Like, it's telling you always to care about, like, oh, what's happening in Israel, or oh, what's happening in Ukraine, or what's going on with the president, or something like that. However, we've seen throughout history, like, for most of history, like, people living, like, if you take a look at some like peasant in the 1700s, they have basically no knowledge except what is directly affecting their life, of what's going on in, like, happening with, like, the king, or it's happening in the capital. If you're living hundreds of miles away on a farm, all you're thinking about is how to grow your crops, and how to deal with the pack of wolves that's trekking throughout the countryside. Those are only the things that you have to deal with. Throughout most of history, humans have not been fixated on things that do not directly affect us. However, that's completely the opposite today. We see more and more people fixating on things in faraway countries, and in like institutions far bigger than us, that we probably are not going to have that big of an impact on. And I just think that while you are still developing, and this applies to you at any stage of life, while you are still developing control over your mind, you need not think about things outside of your control, because that's just going to cloud your mind. But that's what I've already started with my examination, so I'll go on to what the book says. Here's a funny exercise. Think about all the upsetting things you don't know about. Stuff people might have said about you behind your back. Mistakes you might have made that never came to your attention. Things you dropped or lost without even realizing it. What's your reaction? You don't have one because you don't know about it. In other words, it is possible to hold no opinion about a negative thing. You just need to cultivate that power instead of wielding it accidentally, especially when having an opinion is likely to make us aggravated. Practice the ability of having absolutely no thoughts about something. Act as if you had no idea it ever occurred, or that you've never heard of it before. Let it become irrelevant or non-existent to you. It'll be a lot less powerful this way. So, this book, what it's saying here is pretty similar to what I said, in that you are completely capable of not caring about things that you cannot affect, and and even not caring about things that will affect you, but you don't have any control over. Like, the government will impact you one way or another. It could change the tax rate or something like that, or start a war or something, which will affect you. But you're probably not going to have a major impact on those decisions. Like, sure, I'm not discounting the voting process, but in the grand scheme of things, you will be able to change your life more than you will be able to change the government. And so that should be your primary focus, not on things outside of your control. You should, like, don't be focusing so much on like celebrities or movies, even like fantasies settings and stuff like that. Like, sure, there's like, you can do it as a relaxation method. Like, if you enjoy learning about politics or engaging in a fantasy setting or fiction or something like that, but sure, but don't let it change your mentality. One second, my cat is trying to get in my room. Okay, so yeah, don't let those fantasies change your mentality, because they're not super relevant to your life. And don't fixate on things that you cannot control, because it just ties into the Stoic philosophy of only controlling the things that you can control, aka your mind. So yeah, I mean, I think, like, I've talked about this before, like stressing a lot over exams, which is something I used to do, which I don't do so often now. Well, I'm kind of straying into a different topic here, but maybe, I think I am kind of, because to an extent, I am still engaged in politics to a degree, but not to the same extent I was before. And that's just due to it being, like, I've come to a realization that it's not really that productive in my life. Like, I'm not even an adult yet, so it's not really that important to me. And so I've kind of tried to disengage more with politics. So that's just like how it's, I can see this topic in my life. There are other things, like, I know some people like to fixate on like celebrities or something, and like the stuff that they do, but again, you don't always have to have an opinion on them. And try having no opinion on something, because it can feel, you'll start to realize this, but it'll start to feel very relaxing when you don't have to fixate on something. Like, just having the opinion, like, I don't care, like, I have no strong feelings about this one way or the other. That's a really good, that can be a really good mentality. It's not always going to work. Like, there's some things that you will have to make a decision, so you will have to look out for things. But for things that you do not have an impact on, and especially for things that don't have an impact on you, that you don't need to have an opinion on them, especially if it's taking your life, if it's taking your strings if it's taking you around like puppet strings, then it's probably not something worth worrying about. Or yeah, if it doesn't need to be. So that's my thoughts on this. If you guys have any thoughts about this, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Any stories you have about this kind of subject. But with these things out of the way, I hope to see you in the next video. And if I don't, then have a good life. Goodbye.